The older I get, the less and less friends that I have. I've never been the one to be super social or like, I'm not a party sort of dude. I don't really like big crowds. So I've never had a lot of friends. But, you would meet people here and there you have some things in common with. But as I get older, I realize that that number has dwindled significantly. Like, if you were to ask someone that knew me from high school to describe me, they would probably just describe me as being pretty shy. I have developed the ability to be more extroverted when I would like to, but for the most part, I am still a very introverted person. And definitely back then, I was extremely introverted without the ability to be extroverted. Like, I can genuinely say now that I probably have 4 or 5 friends. And even with these 4 or 5 friends, it's very much on a conversation every few months or so basis, a FaceTime here or there. Uh, because most of these guys, we're no longer in the same areas, so it's rare that we see each other. And I don't know if this is a common situation for a lot of people. I don't necessarily want to call it a problem. That's what I'm going to get to in this video. But if it is something that you can relate to, I hope you gain some value from this. Because, like I said, I don't necessarily see it as a problem. I think that we set these ideas and standards of how our lives should be based on like social media and what we see, like what's mainstream. And it seems like everyone has all these friends and they're having all this fun all the time and yada yada yada. But we all know everyone's only posting the highlight reels. And I wonder how genuine these friends actually are. And I give an example that when I was in a past relationship, my ex had a lot of friends. We're not gonna get started on the red flags and stuff with that, but we're gonna just glide past that. But she had a lot of friends. And one thing I noticed with a lot of these friends and her herself is that a lot of these people were very, very sad. They were the life of the party when they were together, when they were around people. But they had a very hard time being alone. And they struggled with a lot of these things because I was able to see some of the inner conversations, some of the conversations that they had when they weren't around everyone, especially with my ex. And I can see, I don't believe it's something that you need, at least not a lot of friends. I will say you probably do need a couple close guys. But I've really battled with this concept a lot because I've also gone to a few funerals, and one of which was from a guy that was pretty popular, around the town and whatnot. I went to it was actually my ex's friend. And I did, I'm not gonna say I enjoyed the funeral, but it was a very heartwarming feeling to see so many lives and people that he affected. Unfortunately, I know personally that he was not very happy. That he struggled to be alone. And it made me start questioning why we put so much importance on this social aspect. Like, and then the other example I have of a funeral is I went to my grandmother's funeral. And granted, she was much older, but it was far less people there. but I can say that things did seem a lot more genuine. Like these were people that she really connected with in a way. And it made me think of my own funeral. How would I like my own funeral to be? Because I don't like the idea of not thinking about death, thinking about it like it's not going to happen. It happens to us all. And I do not want to be afraid of it. So I do think of things like this. And I don't necessarily see my funeral being packed with people. And I had to come to the conclusion that that's okay. That's cool. What I care most is about the people that I can have a genuine effect and a genuine positive change in their life. It was very interesting with this YouTube channel. I remember maybe like 2 years ago, me and some of my friends, we would have these meetings and we would kind of just like talk about what we had going on, our plans, goals, wins and losses for the month. You know what I'm saying? We would kind of just like, I don't even know what to call it, but it was very beneficial. And one of the things I said was my goal as a person is I don't necessarily want to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I don't see myself as being able to change the world. I don't have this grand plan. Well, what I do want is to significantly change the lives in a positive way of people that are very close to me. If I can leave the earth and the people around me had a significant benefit from me being there, I would consider that a life well lived. And I only need a few people for that. But with this YouTube channel, it expands the horizon of the people that I can actually have a genuine impact in their lives, which is nice. And it's one of the first times I really thought about it in that sense. But it is the same premise of what I've genuinely always believed. I don't care to change the world. I don't care to solve world hunger or to get world peace. What I care about is making the people that really fuck with me and the people that are close to me. I want to be I know there's a better word that I am missing, but for whatever reason, it is eluding me right now. But I just want to be a positive change in their life. And that's kind of what this YouTube channel is. Now, even though I do want to get these numbers up, especially to the point where I can at least get monetized, but the big part is that I'm more so looking for that group of people that really fuck with me, that really mesh with what I have going on. Because like I said, I am not a guy that looks to have a million friends. I could give a fuck. But what I do care about is that the few friends that you do have, if you do not have many friends, the few friends that you do have, be a very positive force in their lives. Because when you have a huge number of people that you hang out with all the time, you aren't really doing shit for them. And they aren't really doing shit for you. You guys mostly get together to have a good time and to be a good time around each other. But there isn't much substance to these relationships. So I hope that I bring some substance to you guys. And I want to say this, that recently, I can see that none of the videos have really been hitting the algo. But I still get a consistent, maybe 30 to 40 views. And these are the guys that I care about. These are the people that I fuck with. Because I see that there is still a group of people, 30 to 40 of you guys, that watch every video. There's a range of probably 10 to 12 of you guys that like every video. And these are the people that I'm most worried about helping or being a positive influence in their lives in some capacity. Because I'm not a role model by any means. My life is not where it needs to be. I simply come out and I express my thoughts, and hopefully you bring some benefit from it. And I don't know if this has been a bit of a tangent, but I guess this is more of a video on like just my relationship with people in general. But I just don't see this as a bad thing. So if you are in a similar situation as me, where you do not have a lot of friends, you may seem alone at times. One, it is perfectly fine to be alone. I think one reason that I was able to garner this little audience so far, and hopefully it continues to grow, but it's because I spend so much time in my own head that I don't have this constant influence from others. So it makes me a bit of an interesting individual, just in terms of like, I think a little bit differently because I don't have like the social constructs to be molded by. My friend pointed this out about people that have a lot of siblings. I do have a lot of siblings, but I never lived with most of my siblings. And the ones that I did live with, they were much younger than me. So I would consider myself a bit of an only child. But it just makes it where you kind of grow up on your own. You don't have as many of those social cues and those social standards that like you have to adhere by because you're by yourself majority of the time. That's why I think people that have big families are a lot more social and they get along with people a lot better because they literally had to while they were growing up. But if you're an only child, you simply have yourself for a majority of your time, especially if you're home a lot. So I had to construct these, like it makes it where I have an active imagination. I especially had active imagination when I was young because you have to find ways to entertain yourself. And it also means you have to go through the world and you have to see things for yourself. You have to understand things for yourself. Also didn't have necessarily a father figure for a majority of it. So really had to figure out a lot of this shit on my own. But all that to be said is that there's a positive to not having millions and millions of friends, to not being the most popular guy in the room. I battled with the idea of one day am I just gonna disappear, go off to the mountains, maybe settle down, find a girl, go off to the mountains, have me a couple fast cars, nice little house, and rip and run through those mountain roads. And honestly, that doesn't sound too bad to me. Like I said, I think a big benefit of being alone is that you're able to appreciate small things. The little alone time that you have with yourself to actually be able to think. Because I spend a lot of time thinking. And maybe that's what makes this channel somewhat interesting. Because I ponder a lot of things. Because I have the time to do so. I don't distract myself with just endless friendships where we go out every weekend or we hang out and play video games and shit. And not to shit on that. I'm sure that sounds great, sounds fun. Sometimes I wish I could live that life. But I've accepted the idea of that more than likely not going to be the case for me. I hope to be able to build a community of more like-minded people like myself where I can step out a little bit more, maybe meet more people, find more people that are on the same path as me or at least have the same sort of mindset. But right now it's hard to find those people, at least in everyday life. I feel like I'm starting to ramble a bit now. This video is definitely pretty long. So I guess I'm going to end it here. But if you do find yourself in the situation where you just don't have a lot of friends or you feel alone, start thinking of it as a positive. Don't feel sorry for yourself, thinking that you're a loser or no one likes you or you just don't fit in. That's good. It's good to stand out. Make a difference with that because you have all of the tools to do so. If you made it this far, definitely leave a like on the video. Subscribe. Check out some of the other videos if you guys enjoyed it. Deuces.